Welcome to today's crude oil technical analysis video. We are starting on the daily time frame, and we are going to start by marking up the various obvious levels. So you have these tremendous levels here as we move forward. As of today, having a new president sworn in here in the United States of America. And so there's a couple of things that I think you should know, especially if you did not trade crude oil during President Trump's last 4-year term, where we saw pretty low gas prices. And so that's being promised again. And so even though we trade what we see, understanding right the fundamentals is going to be a little bit important as we move forward over the course of the next 4 years trading crude oil together. So I do want to bring you to this article here, okay, that just dropped just a little bit ago, okay? And so we see some of the headlines here, okay? And again, I just want you to pay attention to the headlines real quick. As far as oil prices falling, okay, we now have the swearing in that happened. Here is the interesting one right here on the second line, okay? When you start seeing banks are gearing up for oil prices to fall below $60 a barrel by the middle of Trump's term. Again, it's something that you have to pay attention to. Okay, again, this is kind of where we were, okay, during that first 4 years of his presidency. We saw much lower gas prices. Now, that doesn't mean we just start selling as of today all the way back down to 60 or 50. But what we do is we use caution. We pay attention to some of the news. But again, what we mainly focus on is not going to change from anything we have been doing now with these strong support and resistance areas. But I will be spending a little bit more time researching and reading the fundamental news, because you start getting the big banks who are the large movers in this market, okay, telling you where they expect price to go, more times than not, okay, they have that inside information. So again, the plan here is to kind of look at more bearish movements coming up for crude oil versus bullish movements on crude oil. So you can just sit on one side of the fence and you can begin to kind of wait for these trades to begin to happen. Okay. So that being said, let's go ahead and get back into the chart here. And let's go ahead and give you why you are here to look at the technical piece, okay, when it comes to crude oil. And hey, all you've got to do before we jump into the analysis, if you get value on this video, or if you can right now, you want to help me out, hit that like button for me. If you're brand new, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, because we do amazing work in here, especially in our trading club, buying and selling crude oil. And we want you to be a part of that as well as we head into an awesome trading year here in 2025. Okay, so we began to see that rejection, okay, up here since 80. Okay, congratulations to our team members who've been selling crude oil since this spot up here, what we called that trade setup. And on the flip side, just to kind of recap, we had been buying crude oil since the upper 60s, and eventually we are here. So again, it's so important to look at the daily time frame, because this is really where price is moving. The smaller time frames makes it much more difficult to trade a volatile commodity like crude oil. So if you can practice and you can have the discipline, and it's something that we preach every day in our group, to trade on the higher time frame, you will find much success. So as we kind of begin to zoom in now, we definitely want to look at this next level right here. Okay, now this is a critical level. And people ask me, well, why do you mark your levels at the wicks and not the body of the candle? And that's a great question. For me, it's because I believe the wicks tell the story. We know that price came here, right? And for whatever reason, it bounced, right? Here again, right? Buyers came in control and came back here. So these wicks are very telling to me. They tell me that on 3 separate occasions, price has come to about 76.63 on this chart. And again, if this price to the right over here is not exactly your price, Understand that every broker, okay, has their own price. And so what you want to do is you want to find your chart and you want to find this same price action. Now, your daily charts, your 8-hour charts, your 4-hour charts, they should look pretty similar. Sometimes when we get a little discrepancy is in those 5, 10, 15-minute charts. You may have a green candle and one of my charts has a red candle, vice versa. So you really want to focus in on the higher time frame, but this chart is pretty close to the current futures price that we are currently using right now. So as we dive back into the daily, this kind of tells me here where prices come to on 3 different occasions now and has rejected. Okay. So very clearly on the daily, for those of you that are looking to swing crude oil down to the next level, there's no secret. We have to have a daily close below the 76.63 level if we expect the price to go down to what would be the next daily level. And that next daily level would be down here at about $73. Understand that these white lines are not precise. That's why I like to draw the yellow box, because they are levels, they are zones. And zones can be, plus or minus 20 points. So these are the levels. And this is something that we focus on in our club. We are just trading zone to zone, okay? Level to level, okay? And when there's a break of that level, then we wait for a couple of different strategies that we have. We have micro strategies. We have Elliott wave strategies. We've got it all. And then we are very, very productive in why we win pretty much over 90% of our trades, because we understand levels and we just want to trade level to level regardless of the time frame. So this here is going to be a very key area for crude oil. Now, as we drop over to the 8-hour chart, we begin to look at the price action. So if you're watching this video here and the market should be closed now, it is Monday or pretty soon about to close with your broker. The U.S. banks were closed today because of the Martin Luther King holiday and because of the inauguration, which ironically both fell on the same day, and that doesn't happen too often. So what we're waiting for now is to see what kind of price action we are going to get here. Okay. Now, if we look down here at about 74, there is some unmet liquidity that I believe they will be coming down for here fairly soon. Okay. Fairly soon. That will first happen when we get the first close, okay, of a 4-hour candle or higher, okay, below this area. Okay. And this is a very good teaching opportunity, because if you can see right here, this candle probably trapped a lot of buyers because they came down, they took liquidity from this candle, right? And then they pulled back up. So look where the closure was at. The closure was right at the zone. We never had the candle close below the zone. So we need to see the candle close below the zone over here if we're going to come back down to this 73 price point. Okay. When you zoom out of this chart here, okay, you can see much clearer, okay, as far as the price action is concerned, with our lows, our highs, our lows, our highs, our lows, our highs, our lows, our highs. So we have been running the higher highs and higher lows as we've been climbing all the way since 66, where we had begun to take our buys before beginning to cash out up at these 80 levels. Now, what's usually going to happen, okay, and we shall wait for that confirmation, and I'll move it over here, is that as we get these price actions happening to the upside, right, then we might see some type of consolidation. Could happen in this area that we're at. But once they break, then we usually begin to see price come all the way back down. So that will be the price action that we will eventually look for if it happens or when it happens in this area. In the meantime, we are focused in right now at this current support level. Now, we are going to head back down to the 4-hour chart and we begin to look at price action. Okay. Now, I want to make this experience also an opportunity for you, if this is your first time or if you've never traded on higher time frames, to give you a little strategy that we use all the time inside of our trading club. But I'm going to give it to you here on this video if you still are here watching this, and hopefully you are. So let's go ahead and get back into the chart. And I'm going to go ahead and go here. And the one thing I always tell people to do is to grab your chart, okay, again, on the 4-hour or the 8-hour, and squeeze your chart. So what I mean by squeezing your chart is if your chart is wide, okay, like this, okay, you don't see it as clearly than if you squeeze your chart and you bring these candles together. Now, as you do that, you're going to notice that in here, you've got this black space in here. You've got this black space in here. You've got this black space in here. Okay, that's pretty evident right in there. So now that you see it, okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete this, make it a little bit wider. Okay, and what you do is you find, okay, the last candle to go up that creates this peak right here, and then you draw a line or you create a horizontal line across it, okay? And the moment that price breaks and closes below that line, that should trigger your first initial sell. And then typically what's going to happen is you're looking for a break and a retest, which you can see happened right here. There is the break, there's the retest, and then the second wave is always going to be the stronger wave. And here was the stronger wave back down to that level. Okay, so hopefully you saw that. And I'm going to show you one more example of that. So if you understood that first example, I want you to head down. Let me go from the camera down to the comments and write the word retest. Okay, I want to make sure that you understood that example of a break, price comes back up over X amount of hours, depending on the time frame you're on, retest that zone, and then the second wave is much, much stronger. Let me show you the opposite on a buy scenario. Okay, so here is what I talked to you about. Here is that black space. You want to go ahead and see that V pattern happening, and then you want to go ahead and draw that line above the last candle that was here. That was the last red candle that went down. The moment that price breaks through it, you're taking that buy right up to the next level. Okay, and so here was an example on how when price breaks, okay, just shoots right through that level. Okay, in this particular case right here, we did not get a retest. So you just had the one possible entry to the upside. This one gave you an opportunity to get in on the initial break, take some profits, wait for a retest, which did happen, right? And then go down or enter another position here and then write multiple positions down. So this shows you a couple of different ways how this V strategy, as I call it, right? Don't need indicators, don't need volume, don't need MACD, don't need RSI. All you need in trading is price action. And this is why my charts are naked charts, because that's mainly all that you need. If you need some stuff just to guide you, like a 50 MA or 200 MA, or something that I believe very strongly in is, for example, the parabolic SAR, then add that to your chart. And this will then validate your position. So we have a strategy in our group that we use the parabolic SAR. And as you can see right here, the parabolic SAR validated the break of structure. So what parabolic SARs do when you use them right is they give you a heads up on the break of structure. You can see right here, this parabolic SAR was that candle which broke structure and then price went down. Here, this parabolic SAR broke structure, this candle, and why price went up. So we use no indicators, but I will add a parabolic SAR to help folks when they first get started. I usually will meet with you and then we'll kind of give you some tutorials on how to trade using this so it's much easier for you. And then after you've been doing this for quite a while, 9 years in my case, you don't need that stuff. You can just sit and wait for the break of structure. You can see it with the naked eye, and that only happens with the more time that you spend on the charts. So just wanted to show you a couple of different ways that you could be looking at this. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this now. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and we are going to just go back up here real quick and just kind of mark this up because this is where we are on the 4-hour. So now I'm going to kind of give you some prognosis moving forward in what you could be looking for some intraday. Now, let me caution you that when the markets do open back up, okay, there's a very strong possibility just based on the president's remarks. There is a lot of anticipation that he is going to sign an executive order today at some point for the continuation of the drilling to bring that back up, as he calls it, drill, baby, drill. And so that is going to have a crucial significance on the price of crude oil because his promise is to increase oil production. The United States is already the leading oil producer, but with more production should mean lower costs for the consumer. And the only way the consumer can get lower cost is if oil prices are down. So we may run into a situation that we may have a very large or maybe no gap at all. But I do want to give you these levels so that you have it. So as you move forward, these are kind of the levels that for right now, we are going to be trading inside of the club. And again, not only do you get it from myself, our trade alerts and our charts, but you also get Brad, who's giving you the Elliott wave, long-term chart analysis for those folks who love swing trading, not only crude oil, Forex, Bitcoin, and all the Forex pairs as well. We have a full-time analyst who is giving you that as well. So you can come in, pick that plan for the plus, and you will have access to about 10 to 15 Elliott wave charts each and every day to help you guide you in addition to what I am doing in the club as well. So these are going to be the levels. That's it. There's nothing else there to look at. There's nothing else to think about. These are the main core levels. Again, I am expecting price to, at some point, come back down to this 74 to take out that liquidity that we have sitting in that candle. And then once we get lower than this price right here, 74, 75, then we'll start entertaining what's down here. For now, this is where we are at, okay? If we cannot create a new high above 80, okay, even if price does come back up, right, we sell again until this happens. In the meantime, at this point, we're not going to sell from support. Okay, we are going to wait to see what price does. I will pretty much start 2025 being bearish on crude oil, meaning I rather give up these gains if this does come up and then look for continuous sells at higher price points, just based on past experience with where I anticipate crude oil prices to be. Again, let me remind you that a lot of the banks are telling us that we could be, if we zoom out of this chart, okay, they're anticipating by midterm, and again, that is 2 years away. It's not right now, anticipating that we go back down into the 60s, okay? And when you zoom in this chart, you can clearly see here that we had some consolidation between 72 and 67 for a while, and then we broke above 72, and we've been up. So are we about to start making a wave down? That is going to be interesting. As far as for me, I want to stay bearish on crude oil. I'll be very limited on my buys. I'll be swinging more crude oil down, but I'll be scalping crude oil up when needed. So this is the overall piece for right now as we head into this shorter week of trading with crude oil, because again, the markets are going to respond to a lot of the executive orders and actions that are going to happen over the next 24 to 48 hours. So look out for that. So if you are trading alone, if you're struggling, you really don't need to. You can go up above, right? And you can join the professortrades.com. You can go to app.theprofessortrades.com. They'll both land you on the landing page. We have a couple of monthly plans that you can choose from for basically less than $1 a day. You can come in and you can get some help, right? You can get some guidance. We do live analysis daily. We do weekly coaching calls. We've got alerts. We've got an excellent community, which really the community is what makes it. If you trade stocks or options, we have a space for that. If you trade Elliott Wave, we've got a space for that. We give you learning articles. We make it so that you can grow your trading account. Even if you're starting with $50, I'd rather work with you and help you grow your account than folks who are coming in with much, much larger account sizes. Okay, so it's about daily growth. We practice a lot about discipline, right? Consistency. not about daily gains. We focus in on percentages, and we call ourselves monthly investors. Where are we at the end of the month versus trying to day trade? Because day trade can get very tiring and can get very taxing, and you can lose a lot of steam if you have one bad day, two bad days. So we focus on those returns, realistic returns at the end of the month, so that you could be doing this 9, 10 years later, and not just a one-hit wonder, have a great 6 months, and then you disappear because you blew your account because of greed or everything else. So we talk a lot about trading psychology inside of the club. Hope to see you there. Invest in yourself. Try it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, if you're not getting value, you can just boop, hit that cancel button and you won't be charged again. But until you don't find out, we have a reason why we have a 93% retention rate and growing each and every day, because we lead with a servant leadership heart. We want to make sure that you are successful inside of our club. And we talk about physical health. We talk about mental wellness. We're adding new spaces in there all the time so that you can grow as well. It's not just about your money. It's about personal growth as well. Okay. Hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you here on YouTube. Members, I'll share this chart with you in just a bit before the market opens. Thanks for watching. If you got some value, hit the like button. If you think somebody can benefit from this video, imagine the power of sharing. Click the share button, send someone the link, send your trading community the link, post it on your social media, let someone else be exposed to something that they may enjoy to do, and they're going to be thanking you for sharing that video. Thanks for watching.